Do you own your digital books purchased from Amazon or Kobo or any ebook retailer? The answer is yes and no, and why you might be in danger of losing your books in the future if you don't have a physical copy. So let's talk about it. Before we get into the video today, I would like to remind you to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any book news, book chat, or book reviews. All right, let's get into it. So this topic, the idea of not owning your digital items, came on my radar a little while ago, and I thought it was kind of weird, but let me explain. A few years ago, the PlayStation decided to discontinue its services with a few of their channels. Now, if you have a PlayStation, you understand this, but if you don't have a PlayStation, let me explain. PlayStations are not just gaming consoles anymore. They have access to lots of different entertainment channels. You can purchase products off of shows, TV shows, movies, that kind of stuff. So you're not just getting a console to play video games, you're also getting a large offering of lots of different entertainment options. So at the end of the Christmas, I believe it was 2021 or 22. I'm sorry, I don't have the reference right up in front of me right now, but they made an announcement that they were going to be discontinuing certain channels on their PlayStation, which means that anyone who had purchased anything from those channels was about to lose their products. Most people didn't understand that when they purchase a digital product, what they are purchasing 99% of the time is a license for that product. So all of these individuals who had purchased things through the PlayStation on these channels were about to lose all of these things that they had bought. Now you can imagine this caused a huge uproar. Most people don't know that. I didn't realize that until I really sat down and thought about it. The same way that Libby works, or I just got a notification that my brand new phone is coming sooner than I expected. I didn't think I was gonna get it till tomorrow, so I'm getting it today. Woohoo! The same way that like Libby works, where if you use a library a lot, you know that these are, digital copies of these books that are being rented out to different people, but the library doesn't own an actual copy of the audiobook or the ebook that you're reading. They own a license, and you have to purchase a certain number of licenses per library. So when you're on the Libby app and it says your library recently acquired 12 new books or 12 new copies, what they purchased was 12 new licenses of that particular product. So the exact same thing is happening in the digital world. So any movies that you might purchase through any of the services, YouTube, Amazon, Vudu, any of those types of services, you're purchasing a license for that item. If that company decides at any point that they are going to remove that from their catalog as an offering, you have now lost the license to have that. It kind of sucks, and they don't explain that explicitly when you're purchasing a movie. Like, say you really want to watch the movie Jaws, but it's not available anywhere, so you buy it from Amazon and you now have it in your purchased items on Amazon. But if at any time Amazon loses the rights to have the digital version of the movie Jaws, you will lose your purchase. Same thing is true for ebooks, and we hear about this all the time, but in a completely different context. Now, I follow a lot of independent authors on TikTok, on YouTube, on a bunch of different social media platforms, and one thing that I have seen, which has made me hesitate in independently publishing, is that give him some chapstick. Is that authors who independently publish have to sign specific agreements to have their books available on different platforms. On Amazon, they have a very specific exclusivity clause, meaning it cannot be on any other platform anywhere on the internet. And if it is found, your book will be removed immediately. So that means you can't put it on barnesandnoble.com, you can't put it on ebooks.com, you can't have it on any other platform other than Amazon. Which, since Amazon is like 98% of the market itself, most people don't have a problem with. However, what happens if somebody pirates the book and puts it on a pirated website, Amazon finds it, and they remove your book? Now, anyone who has purchased the book has now lost the book because the license is no longer there if they purchase the ebook. If you purchase the physical book, it's totally fine. But if they remove the book from their offerings, you no longer have access to that. It does happen. Just look on TikTok and you will find many, many authors who have seen this happen to them, and it's a really big problem. So this idea that digital products you do not own is something that the industry is going to have to deal with at some point. Now, more and more people are starting to get upset with it and frustrated with it, and they're going back to physical copies. There's a couple of YouTubers that I follow that have recently done videos about how they are purchasing physical copies of movies, of books that they really love, of artwork that they've had as digital copies, because they want to actually physically own the books or the movies or whatnot, because you never know when these platforms are just going to pull them down. So that is something that I really advocate for, is this idea that you need to purchase your books, you need to purchase your movies. Otherwise, at any point, they can be removed. Now, there's some ways to get around it. I know that there's been some critique of like, well, it only does it if it, if you're connected online. So if you never connect to online ever again after purchasing a product, then it won't be removed, because it'll only be removed once you reconnect. And I'll be honest, that does actually work. If you have a library book, theoretically, not saying I've ever done this. I've never done anything like this. But theoretically, if you had a book that was supposed to go back to the library and you knew that the time was coming, but you hadn't finished that book yet, and you have the digital copy, if you just happen to disconnect your Kindle from the internet and don't reconnect it until the book is read, theoretically, of course, that would work. But let's be honest and realistic here. You're not going to leave your device off the internet for the rest of time just for one book. So in closing, I'm going to say this. If you love a book, buy it. It helps the author. It's nice to have a physical copy that you can lend to people without the weird lending restrictions that they have online. And it's really great on your bookshelf to have your trophies. Look at all of my little trophies over there. I have another built-in downstairs of 4 shelves that run the length of my wall that are also all of my trophies. So, these are just the special trophies. Buy your books. Just buy them. If you want to buy them secondhand, buy them secondhand. I buy 99% of my books secondhand. I think I've only bought 2 books full price, at a Walmart or something this year. But most everything that I've done is secondhand. So buy your books, buy your movies if you really love them. There is a reason why digital copies are so popular, but there's a reason why physical copies are still being made at the same time. Because if you loved Inside Out 2, go buy it. Because it'll go away eventually. Yeah, the internet is forever, but not your access to everything. Anyway, that is my thoughts today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And remember, you are worthy, you are loved, and as always, happy reading. See you guys later.